Bravo, lads, bravo. Love that, love that. Examine the Irishman, Welshman or Scot. You'll find he's a stinker as often as not. Fantastic stuff. Great way to celebrate America's birthday by pointing out that the English are snobby and arrogant. But of course, this was from an era where obviously people were normal and they used to take the piss out of each other in a good-natured and humorous way. We can't have that anymore. No, we're not allowed good things. Now, if you made a song like that, they'd be like, oh, this is pure hatred. This is pure hatred. Of course it is. Makes loads of sense, that, doesn't it? If you take the piss out of the Irishman, the Englishman, the Welshman or the Scot, it's pure unending hatred and resentment. Oh, look, I got some mail. I think this is an apt present for America Day. Yeah! It's a new holster for my new Glock, because I buy lots of guns now because I want to be tooled up if the Metropolitan Police come to me for wrong thing. What's this? There we go. Nice concealed carry holster for my new firearm. I'm going to need that in case the Metropolitan Police send a task force to my door. But because this is America and we have freedom to defend our home here, please know, Metropolitan Police, if you kick my door off its hinges, there'll be me and my heavily armed missus. I've built her a little pillbox in the corner so we can get you in a crossfire. Okay, so just know, I'm just putting that out there for your own benefit, lads. I'd feel slightly guilty if I ventilated a Metropolitan Bobby and found out he was a former bootneck. So I just want to put that out there. Probably best if you don't try to get... In fact, I don't think they'd be able to get a warrant to do that, would they? Because this is a free country. Well, slightly more free than the UK. I don't think anybody really lives in a free country, do they? Not in this day and age. A Sanger, yeah. Not a pillbox, a Sanger. Fair enough. But I'm in America now, and you got to learn to fit in. It's a great Tupperware party. Glock's a decent firearm. I picked it because they issued the Glock 17 to the Royal Marines, and I got a 19 because I've got slightly small mitts for a bootneck, which is comical, innit? Because there's been people who've heard me call myself a short ass, joking, and then they think I've got when they're actually trying to offend me, they've called me a short ass, as if this upsets me. When obviously when you're 5'9". My missus says 5'8 3/4. When you're 5'9", that's not short. That's why I've been a lady slayer my whole life. But when you're a bootneck, it is quite short. I think they must have a slightly taller height than the average person. There was a lot of very athletic 6'2" blokes in the Royal Marines. So I think I was short around them, but not generally. However, 5'9", it is. I've got little hands. So a 19 fits my hands better than a 17, hence the reason. You know what else annoys me? You can't have a 15-round California... Well, not legally. I've since heard that in America it's more or less don't ask, don't tell. So you can. But, you're meant to get 15-round mags with them, and I picked it up, a new one, opened the box, 10-round mags. I was like, what's the crack with these two Ponzi 10-round mags, boys? I want to get as much lead downrange as possible if there's a burglar in my front room. And he said, oh no, in California you're only allowed to sell a 10. And I was like, what a load of bollocks. So that's annoying. Anyway, today's beer is of Kolsch, I Still Love You, by Starbase Brewing Company. There you go. Obviously I'm keeping it in-house. California. It's true, innit? But like I said, not really. On paper, if you look at it by county, it's red. It's just the big cities. San Diego, San Francisco and LA are full of shit-for-brains communists, and everybody else is sensible. What a strange time to be alive, though, isn't it? I can't believe that the powers that be have got such power and have such a stranglehold over everybody that, they think anyone who isn't a full-blown communist is far right. I still don't think I'm that right-wing myself. I just believe in, basically I'm a 1980s conservative voter. It's kind of boring, really, isn't it? Apparently that makes you a fascist. Weird, isn't it? I know this looks odd, but it's just I've got tea here that I'd nearly finished, and then I grabbed a can, and then I realised that'd be the wrong way around, isn't it? You can't drink a cold can and then have hot tea. So I'm going to drink this quick while it's hot, because nothing worse than... Isn't it odd how tea's the best drink ever, but when it's warm, it's absolutely disgusting. Something I've never understood what they love doing over here is iced coffee and iced tea. If it's hot, it doesn't matter how hot it is, I still like tea. They make iced coffee. Bilge. I mean, I'll drink it if I have to, but this is perfect tea. It doesn't matter if it's warm. Calston State Race is having an actual strawberry miffy. I didn't think they made them anymore. I've only used the term as Cockney rhyming slang for civilians. As I've told you a lot, something strange that my missus noticed and some of my Cockney friends is that I use more Cockney rhyming slang than any 10 Cockneys. It's very odd as well, because my old fella used loads. That's how I got it all from. My old fella always used Cockney rhyming slang, and he always claimed that he wouldn't go anywhere near London and he hates Cockneys. So it's quite weird how he talks like them. Typical, the American in the room loves a bit of iced tea. Pointless. It's great warm. Okay, neck me tea. Let me just cleansing my palate with Kolsch. Pretty good. Pretty good. Oh yeah, you know what I wanted to show you guys today? Let me just snip it and put it on my Twitter, and then I can show you all it. Because you know what I found the other day? So I was looking for an old picture. I was talking to a mate of mine from the Corp, and I was sure that we had I had a photograph of us in my Google Drive, and then I couldn't find it. So I was like, this is weird. But while I was looking for it, I found an angry letter that I sent to Simon. Is it Simon Clarke, the wanker from Middlesbrough? What's his name? Let me look him up. Middlesbrough MP. Oh no, Simon. Yeah, it is Simon Clarke. What a twat. I take great pleasure in that. Yeah, this dickhead. I take great pleasure in the fact I got the lanky streak of piss throughout. I definitely think I played a role in that. If I only changed 200 minds in Middlesbrough, I think it helped make a difference, because then they'll have told other people, won't they? So I'm very pleased to think that I helped make that happen. And I was going through my Google Drive looking for a photograph, and I found this old letter that I sent him, and I'm going to share it with you because it's the first time I ever wrote an angry letter and sent it to an MP. And at the time, so it was September 21st, 2020, and I just found it. Let me just change the address so you can't see that. I'll put that. Here we go. Right, I can share this now, can't I? There's nothing incriminating on there. Yeah, here we are. Look how, you can't read it. I'll have to zoom in a bit more. There we are. Look how prophetic this letter was. So I wrote this September 21st, 2020, and I think, if I remember rightly, I shared it at the time with my relatively small amount of... Stu, bastard, YouTube didn't notify. Well, they never do they, these days? Wankers. I sent this in September 21st, 2020, and I think I had a burgeoning channel then, and people, I showed you guys it. But just because, indulge me, because I like being proved right all the time. Just read this letter. This is from September 21st, 2020. So nearly 5 years ago now, right? And I sent this to this wanker, and I'm so pleased that he got binned. Loving that. And he's obviously lost his seat in 2024. Despite Reform UK not fielding a candidate, he was narrowly voted out. So I like to think I helped make that happen. Big, geggy streak of piss. And this is the letter I sent him. Simon Clarke MP. Dear Mr. Clarke, this is the first angry letter I ever wrote. What a sad bastard. You know you're a sad bastard when you're writing angry letters? But this is what I sent. It says, Dear Mr. Clark, I recently had the misfortune to listen to Prime Minister's questions and found myself astonished to hear that the PM is considering putting the UK back into lockdown. Even the term lockdown sticks in the craw, as it suggests that we were all inmates on a prison ship bound for a penal colony in New South Wales. I'm ashamed to say that back in March, I was happy to support the initial restrictions upon my personal liberty. I found Steve Baker's regretful speech in Parliament to be most enlightening, and his impassioned words won my support for the cautious but somewhat overbearing approach of the government. This is not the case today. I can very easily elucidate as to why. Put simply, the general public is sick to the back teeth with these measures, and there is no doubt in my mind that every reputable poll bears this opinion out. As such, I am steadfast in my belief that the government has no mandate to instigate a second lockdown upon the nation, so complete is the lack of support from a majority of the voting public. Those that are at risk can stay home, but there is no logical reason to keep the healthy apart from their friends, family and loved ones. Moreover, we now have 6 months' worth of recent and very relevant data to analyse. The coronavirus is not as dangerous as we first envisaged, and that is not merely an opinion. It is a demonstrable fact proven beyond doubt by recent figures, from Stockholm to Singapore to Stockton-on-Tees. Those without existing comorbidities are at no more risk from the COVID-19 than H1N1 or other recent viral outbreaks, none of which resulted in an illiberal and draconian measures that hamper the personal freedom of the public. You have an obligation to enact the will of the people you represent, and I have completely run out of patience. If you do not unequivocally stand against the statists that wish to continue this charade, not only will I never vote Conservative again, but I will actively bend every spare moment I have to campaigning for another party. Gone are the days when I will vote for the least poor option. And if that means an equally authoritarian Labour Party retaking power, then so be it. Sincerely, Matt Taylor, September 21st, 2020. You know what's funny about that? Well, two things. First of all, the vast majority of it was correct. But second of all, the one thing I got wrong, this bit here. I found Steve Baker's regretful speech in Parliament to be most enlightening, and his impassioned words won my support. Yeah, can you guess what happened there? Because he was a charlatan. He said, I regretfully support, and then every single Johnson measure, he was conker deep in his shit box. So you can guess what happened between me and Steve Baker, can't you? Well, here's his Twitter page. I love it. That gives me a rage boner as well. Get in. So that shitbag blocked me because I just started torturing him. I've told you I get angry. I get raged at these people. I hate them more when they hoodwink me than I do like people that were against me my entire life. Like, I hate Boris Johnson and I hate Boris Johnson and I hate Steve Baker more than I hate Jezza. Like, honestly. Because, like, at least Jezza was an out communist from the very beginning. He had the fortitude to like stand by his beliefs and actually be an out. You know what he believes. Steve Baker and Boris Johnson, they tried to make out they were like libertarian heroes, and then the second they got into power, they proper took the piss out of all of us. So Steve Baker, I tortured him. Every time he posted anything about being a libertarian, he tried to self-style himself a libertarian because it was like cool for a time, wasn't it? Oh yes, I'm an English libertarian. And I just tortured him. And every time he posted, I was butchering him. And he just blocked me. Like they all do. I'm blocked by tons of Conservatives. There's some twat on there called Vipond, who's always... I remember the name because I was in basic training with a lad called Vipond, Chris Vipond. And it's Mark, innit? Every Conservative post this wanker's on. So he's paid, definitely. Where is he? Let me find, because I've been arguing with all these twats lately. He's on every post. And I'm like, how much are they paying you, you shitbag? Because I hate him. Angry letter, yeah, it was an angry letter. There's another good one. I'm going to bounce all over you if I don't stick to it. Where is he, this knobhead? Yeah, and then now the Conservatives saying, oh, we've been fighting every day against Labour. I was like, you're absolute rats. I'll never, ever vote for you ever again. And every time you click on any of their posts, there's some bloke there called Mark Vipond. He's blocked me. Every one of them. Because when you torture them, they can't take it. They can't take any criticism. They just want to live. The uniparty wants to live in the world where the media tells you what to believe. Everything they tell you is lies, and you don't question it for a second. And those days are gone. I hate the Conservatives. There's nothing Conservatives about them. They should be forced to change the name. You know, like we have an advertising standards agency. They should be fucking forced into it. You're not Conservative. You can't call yourself the Conservative Party anymore. That's like Carlin Black Label getting their advert pulled for saying it's the best lager in the world. It isn't. It isn't. And the Conservative Party is not conservative. If I was on a dating app and I was as dishonest as the Conservative Party being called the Conservative Party, I'd be called 6'5" black man with a 12-incher, as opposed to 5'9" pasty man with a AAA battery. Okay, it's disgraceful that they're allowed to exist as the Conservative Party. They should be called the wet, woke, slimy, left-wing liars who call themselves Conservative Party. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? Anyway, super chats I missed there while I was rambling. Do we need an English version of the Orange Order? Probably. I told you though, England, we had it too good for too long, so we haven't got the same like revolutionary spirit as many other people. It's just the way of the world, isn't it? Find Your Way ban. I've been a member for a year and I'm literally at the point where I can almost understand him. Cheeky bastard. We speak proper English. I've noticed even when I try to do a posh accent, it doesn't work, does it? When I try to do my Guardian reader accent, I just sound like I'm from like York. It's slightly down the road. Stu didn't get notified. Rag said they're all a nest of scheming bastards. Yes, we can definitely agree on that. What was the first documented evidence of literacy in Middlesbrough? You've spelled borough wrong, so I'll pick you up for that. What was the first documented evidence? I don't know. I think we got school. The first school was about 1985, I think. Obviously, you can. I can't read that because that'll probably end up in. You know, you can if you're a galloping nonce like Stephen Ireland, and you've been parting your cheeks on streams all day long. YouTube will let you go at it. It's fine. If Stephen Ireland wants to bring a 12-year-old on, part his cheeks, and then proceed to suck warm jizz out of his ring piece, you can do that. That's totally fine. But if I say those words, you can't do that. Definitely can't. Quick, put the jizz felchers back on. That's totally reasonable behaviour, but we can't say that because that's the world we live in. As I said, we're not free people, are we? Not even in the United States. But God bless America. I still pay about 24% tax or something out here. It's way better. Me and my missus, I think all in, I got a big rebate because I get the take plenty out and then we go and see our tax man and we pay a lot less. So God bless America. And I pity my friends back in the UK. Again, I still am a proud Englishman, but you can totally see why the revolution happened. The second they turned around and went, well, we have to pay less tax, I'd have turned my coat faster than you can say, lick my balls, King George. Not only would I have turned my coat, I would have pulled George Washington off after the Battle of Yorktown. There's nothing else matters to me. I'm a single issue voter, immigration, and I'm a single issue supporter of the state with one policy, lower my taxes. Trump's big, beautiful bill. They're all going on about all the negatives. Yeah, fair enough. But I feel like we're heading to collapse anyway. So all I want to do is just keep as much money as possible. And if I'm reading this right, with a big, beautiful bill, I won't have to pay any tax on my YouTube earnings at all. Because I don't make that much. But I'm pretty sure it's nout, because it'll probably end up with all super chats and all the shit I make. Probably be about 20 grand in a year. Dollars. Which don't get me wrong, it's not bad at all for a hobby. But I'm pretty sure I won't have to pay any tax on that at all. You probably have to do it if you're earning, hundreds of thousands and you've got millions of subs. But apparently I'll have about 20 grand extra in my pocket every year thanks to, God bless him, the Orange Oracle. So who cares about anything else? All the Conservatives having a go at him and saying, oh God, you're increasing the debt. We're all knackered, aren't we? We're all circling the drain. I don't mean to break this to anyone, but the entire world is skint. We owe China, which is funny because I read a story that said they were going mad because we loaned a panda off China, and now we're like, oh, we want to keep it. It brings loads of people into the zoo. So I was like, okay, we owe the Chinese $20 trillion and a fucking fat panda. That's how much debt we're in. We don't just owe them money, we owe them animals. 20 trillion and a big fat panda pandas are useless. Don't understand that. As I've said, I've ranted about this in a video I made years ago. Why are we so bothered about pandas? We don't care about preserving Scotsmen or Japanese people. We don't care about preserving culture so that in 100 years' time, every single country on planet Earth is shit and all looks identical. Because that's where we're going. The Matrix is going to be real. Every single country is going to be identical architecture, identical beige people, identical brands, identical bands, living in a little box, eating your paste, doing as you're told, spied on all the time, no kilts in Scotland, no, I don't know, falafels in Greece or whatever, no Parthenon, no shrines in Japan, just a gigantic shit world that's identical everywhere you go. They don't care about that. Preserving ancient, unique societies. But, we've got to look after the pandas. If a panda doesn't want to fuck another panda, why should I intervene? That is a useless animal, a panda. It's useless. They have to show them panda porn and make them do lines of panda Viagra just to get them to bum each other. But when we go, let's just make Japan an extinct entity, they go, yeah, that's a good idea. It's not a good idea. We should spend more time worrying about Scotsmen with the stupid dresses and the sporrans and the buckfast and less time worrying about pandas. It's bollocks. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. A society like Scotland is as unique as a panda, and I think we should try and look after them all. But we're not, are we? Look at the last Prime Minister. The last Prime Minister was about as Scottish as, well, I'm way more Scottish. Anyway, I'm like 20% Scottish. The last Prime Minister was 0% Scottish, and he said, I'm a son of the soil of Pakistan. And then when someone goes, oh, you're not very Scottish then, he goes, what are you talking about? I'm more Scottish than you are. And I'm like, what, me? Even though, like, my grandparents were from Scotland. Well, it's what my nana told me. You don't really care that much, do you, when you're from the UK? And I'm from down the road. But apparently, a son of the soil of Pakistan. When it suits him, he's the most Pakistani man ever. When he's on the campaign trail and he's talking to Pakistanis, then he is Lord Saviour, son of the soil of Pakistan, listens to nothing but Bhangra music and wipes his ass with his hand, full-blown Joe Dacky, Puma Tracky, king of the lot of them. But when he's talking to me, he goes, yeah, you're not a Scotsman like me, laddie. You didn't know nothing about Scotland. Aye, it's a load of shite. Well, I'll have you know, I used to get Ooh Woolly books and drink Iron Brew as a child, so I'm more Scottish. In fact, I didn't even need to do any of that. I could love Bhangra music and watch Bollywood all day, but I'm still 10 times more Scottish than that sack of shit. Anyway, this isn't get drunk and cry day. This is a good day. This is a good day. The American Revolution saved Anglo culture. Because I'm telling you, in the future, when the UK and Europe has collapsed, the last bastion of Anglo culture is going to be in America. The Americans uniformly like English people. They have English culture. There's English pubs everywhere. They're going to keep it alive. If we'd have won the Revolutionary War, America would be 40% Joe Dacky, wouldn't it? So we should all celebrate American Independence Day, I'm telling you. This is why, God bless America, this is why I've got my holster and my Yankee beer. Because we should all be celebrating American Independence Day. If it wasn't for that, We'd be knackered. All the English pubs that I go to out here, they wouldn't exist. There'd be big golden bell-end churches with knobheads praying out front of them on their hands and knees like a wanker. So we should all celebrate American Independence Day. I'm telling you, it's an Anglo country. So yeah, it is. Cheers to George Washington and all 30 of his dicks. Love American Independence Day. I'm telling you. And it's England. The Americans say it like they know the crap. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson. They're not called Abdul Ramadi, are they? Founder of America, Jacques-Francois Lecoq. No, English people. So you should be happy about it. If they were stuck with us, they'd have embraced the same shite. Donald Trump wouldn't be sticking up for us. They'd have Hamza Yusuf in the White House, and they'd have imported 100 million Puma trackies. So every one of us should be on board with American Independence Day. God bless them. God bless them. That's the correct way to spell, because you lot can't spell. Fair dues. I'll wind my neck in. I have started spelling wrong. You get neat shit for it, because British people are chippy, and they always go, ew, look at him. I told you, when I went back to Middlesbrough last time, I go into the pub, and I talk like this, and people that I live with are convinced I sound American. My family and friends, all people who I drink with in my local. They're like, oh, definitely his accent's changed. Like, they get all, look at him, wanker. As soon as you'd say anything, like maybe I said trash once, and they all go, fucking hell, he's changed, what a wanker. That's the way English people are. We've got a chip on our shoulders about it. I'll tell you why it happens. Because there's nothing more annoying than repeating yourself endlessly, is there? And when I tossed something to a bloke who stood near the bin and said, shove it in the bin, mate. And he goes, what? And I go, shove it in the bin. And he goes, what? And I go, put the trash in the garbage. It annoys me that I've had to say it 3 times. So now I don't say shove it in bin anymore. Because when you say shove it in bin, they think you're having a seizure. So now I say, stick that in the trash, please, mate. It's not entirely American, but it's not entirely Middlesbrough. It's a hybrid. So stop giving me shit about spelling wrong. I work professionally. I send hundreds of emails every week and messages to people. You just start spelling it that way. Because if you don't, and I'm addressing dozens of people that have never met me personally, if I spell everything wrong, I look like a retard, don't I? So, of course, I've started dropping the superfluous U's and stuff like that. It happens. And there's no need to be chippy about it. Like paint on an easel, all beautiful colours, red, blue, yellow, green, but mix them all together, turns to shit brown. Well, exactly. Or as I've told you loads of times, me dad told me this when I was a bairn. Literally, kids understand this. If you have a super posh school and you bring one kid in, it doesn't raise the kid up. The Liberals made them do it in America, busing. They had amazing schools with amazing children getting an amazing education. And then they go, well, let's get a few ethnic fellas in, and then 10 years later the school's on fire, right? All the girls have been diddled in gym class. It's gone to shit, and the simile that I've used is a pristine well. One bloke drops his trousers and shits in it. No one's drinking from the well. Doesn't matter if there's 10,000 gallons down there. If one bloke snaps one off in the bucket and lowers it in, nobody's drinking from the well anymore. So totally agree with you. You've talked me around there. And I do agree about the colours analogy as well. Because I'm an old 80s conservative and I'm not a bad person or a fascist or anything else to call you. China's got a great, wonderful culture, a rich culture. I want to preserve it. They had the printing press before we did. They invented gunpowder. They had a rich culture and a beautiful written language when we were still in the dark ages. China's amazing. I don't want China to turn into London. I don't want the whole planet to look like fucking London in 2050. But the globalist scum do. So don't listen to them. Argue with them everywhere you find them. Like I said, go to your local town hall and call your leader a wanker to his face. We don't get angry enough. Get angry. Get angry. They've driven you into debt and they've ruined your grandchildren's lives. And people go, oh, I think I'll send an angry letter. No, march into your local town hall and say, you can lick my fucking balls to your local leaders. Simon, big lanky streak of piss Clark. Look at him. Look at that geggy fucking loser. I'd fold him up like a wet newspaper. I hate these people that do nothing useful. Apparently, he was actually quite well liked because he wasn't a total flake. But once he started getting in bed with Boris and following his lead and everything, I'm not having it. I'm glad I helped end your career, you big sack of big geggy streak of piss. So yeah, I'm not having it. And certainly I'm not having the Conservatives call themselves Conservative. Oh, here's a good story. I reposted this one, look. Irish. Funnily enough, there's a funny Twitter account called Irish or African, which makes me laugh because basically what's happening to Ireland, isn't it? Home Office made this today. Everything they do is to piss you off. This is what I've told you, which is why I'm sick of telling you lot. Yes, I'm angry, but it's also humorous. It's tinged with anger, humorous. That's what my channel's all about. You have to laugh because the powers that be want you to go mental. I keep telling you this. They want you to go mental. They want an excuse to lock you up because they hate you. So do what I do. Juvenile taunts. Make sure you don't mention the race. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. If I met Sweaty Lambtron or Diane Abacus in the street, I'd torture them, but it'd be on the right side of the draconian laws they've introduced in the UK. Because I wouldn't bring up things as trivial as the race, and they don't get upset by that anyway. It doesn't upset you when someone points out the obvious, does it? You go after things that will upset them. Like, hey, David, I seen you're on Mastermind, you thick twat. You lose a debate to a yoghurt, you sweaty individual, you sweaty, horrible, slimy little creature. Don't have to say anything illegal. Abacus, I mean, comedy gold right there. Comedy gold. Can't even put his shoes on properly. So you don't have to do anything daft. You have to keep your sense of humour no matter how bad it gets because they want to lock you up. Don't you understand? They want you to go mad. So this channel, that's probably why they hamstring my channel so much, because I'm trying to do you a favour. You laugh and you use puerile humour and you insult and you mock them, but you never cross the line into criminality. That's what they want you to do. They're looking for an excuse to lock you up forever. People like poor old Sam Mellier or Lucy or the last fella I made a video about, they want to lock you up. So don't let them. Just take the piss out of them. You got to do your homework. That's why it's immoral, really, isn't it? Because you know what it's like? It's like picking on an invalid. Sensible people with an average IQ, they know how to do this stuff. They know how to be an activist and they know how to have a go without crossing the line into criminality. But thick people lose the rag, do something stupid, and then get locked up for 20 years. When you read about these lads who were like gone all like super racist and printed loads of pamphlets and then like nailed bacon to the doors of a Golden Bell End church. And then they get locked up and it's picking on an invalid that because they're too thick to just play the game. They make these stories because they want to drive you mad. They want you to read this story and they want you to go mental and then grab a machete and go to the Houses of Parliament and then fail miserably to do anything useful. Maybe get a nick in an armed copper's shoulder and then get kneecapped and locked up for 35 years. Don't give them the satisfaction. The line's increasingly blurred, but if you're sensible, you can get around it. All you do is, and I've told you, even if they make it criminal, it's not the end of the world. You go in front of a jury. If Lucy Connolly had went in front of a jury, she wouldn't be in jail. It's that simple. The problem is they all plead guilty. Even Sam Mellier, I think. Was Sam Mellier daft enough to plead guilty? Let me type that in. He must have done. He must have done. Did he? Does anyone know? I just typed it in. I can't see it. There's no way a jury of people would lock him up for that. There's no way. So I'm not having a go at them. I'm not having a go. They pressurise you. You get a lying activist lawyer who works for the state. If you have some common sense, you can avoid it. You toe the line, and on the off chance to get you for some mega milk toast, you don't plead guilty. You don't say anything. Never ever plead guilty for just mocking them. Lucy Connolly pled guilty. She would never have got locked. There's no way. She didn't even incite violence. She said, "For all I care." For all I care. That's ambivalence. Innit? And say, think about that. If someone went on Twitter and you could find the examples, all the lawyer would have to do is print off 50 examples and go, why did these 50 people not get arrested? I guarantee you could find 50,000 examples on Twitter of people using the exact same sentence, saying things like, set Donald Trump on fire, chop his head off, for all I care. For all I care. Kathy Griffin posed with his head. No one got locked up. They play a game. So you play the game, and on the off chance they nick you on trumped up charges for something mega contrived, then you don't plead, and then you'll walk in the jury trial. Anyway, it's enough legal advice from the barroom lawyer. All I'm telling you is, you got to laugh. They release these stories on purpose. On purpose. You know it and I know it. Look at this story. The Home Office themselves put it out because they know it'll drive you wild. This is why they're so hypocritical. Human beings despise hypocrisy. They know it'll drive you wild, so don't play the game. Rip the piss out of them and laugh as we circle the drain. And when it all kicks off, then we get serious. When it's actually kicking off, then we take things seriously. But until that time, you laugh and you play the game. That's why they do it. The hypocrisy is very, very much on purpose. Very much on purpose. Like, they'll do it in the same, TV appearance. Someone like Owen Jones will go, oh my God, Lucy Connolly, she should get 25 years. You can't talk like that. And then they'll go, oh, what about this left-wing activist who said kill all your local conservatives? They'll go, no, you can't lock someone up for that. You can't lock someone up for that. And everyone around them's going, hang on, you can't say that in the same sentence. Like, surely you can't appear on a show and say you definitely have to lock people up for tweets and then wait 3 minutes and say you definitely can't lock a lefty up for tweets when they're more violent and more aggressive. And they go, yeah, you can, because it's on purpose. They know that hypocrisy is the most repellent of traits in a person. So they do all this on purpose to try and make you wild. And then you go out in the street and you do something stupid. Well, we won't. What we'll do is we'll laugh. So they printed this to try and make you angry. Let me read you it. I need some more booze first. So, Home Office, official Twitter, trying to make you mad. Irish people living in the UK will be able to apply for British citizenship under a new, easier, cheaper route. Applicants will be subject to a more streamlined application process and won't be required to demonstrate knowledge of English language or sit a life in the UK test. Now, this is what I'm saying, why everyone knows it's funny. Have you ever met an Irishman who can't speak English? Now, yes, they'll say it'll be English in a strong accent, like, ho, Ireland, there's more to it than a this. Yeah, they'll talk like that, but it's still English, just about. In fact, it's more English than Geordie, so they speak better English than us. Have you ever met one? I don't think they exist. And as for life in the UK test, is there any country on earth where life is almost identical than Ireland? Like, is there any significant difference between life in Ireland and life in England? You walk around the streets, they look identical. Everything's in English. You go to the pub, there's like pissheads in there who never leave. Yeah, England. There's no significant cultural changes at all. And they make this tweet because they want to piss you off, because they know what everyone's saying in the comments, and you can see what they're saying in the comments. Yeah, what I said, which is Irish equals 600,000 Africans. Some of the tweets under this were brilliant. I've seen, like, where's the funny one? What kind of Irish? No, there was a bloke. There's one. I'm the Irish now. Yeah, as Irish as, I don't know, Bobby Sands. I struggle to believe this account isn't satire. Oh, aye. Yeah, we know. The comments are amazing. Look at this. This is the Home Office. Look at the clip of him. Just from right to left. He looks mixed. He looks like like a Greek. Foreign. So every single one of them, except for the gaffer, who looks like a greasy Cypriot, is Indian, Pakistani or black. And this is what I'm telling you, it's on purpose. That's the Home Office. They import them on purpose. They stamp all the passports on purpose. It's all on purpose. They want to piss you off and they're gloating about it. This is why I'm also blocked by Philip Rutnam. Because as I said, Philip Rutnam, another one of my nemesis, he was the head of the Home Office, who sued Priti Patel after she fired him because he had no standards. And he personally approved the Manchester Evening News arena bomber. So Philip Rutnam became my nemesis for about a year until he blocked me. There's always method in the madness, boys and girls. It's on purpose, so don't let them wind you up. When it kicks off, they will lose. Just do the numbers. People are like, oh no, I don't know what we're going to do. And this is what I tell you, the white pill. Short to medium term, we've totally Tommy ducked and it's all going to go to shit and you just have to suck it up. Long term, we can't lose. It's the 10% of the population. And when we kick off, we're worth 10 of them. I told you, my mate John Winterger fighting Puma Trackies on Linthorpe Road. It was like something out of a movie. It was like the Hulk versus the Skrulls. Just like they're full of rice and piss. There's no contest to be had there. When it kicks off, they lose. So don't worry about it. Like I said, the accelerationists have got a good point. I don't care anymore. Things can get terrible. I'm resigned to it. You embrace the Spartan lifestyle and you do plenty of exercise and you wait for it. It'll kick off eventually. And when they do, they're in the shit. Borough, there's a lot of them in Borough. They've got no chance. Who are you gonna choose? 1,000 sparrow-boned regulars at the snack bar, raised on a diet of rice, piss, and prey, or 5,000 angry scaffolders? I know who my money's on. It's like being scared of the Guardian readers. I could take out 200 Guardian readers on my own. I'll just do that by myself. I would go for 3, but I'm getting on a bit. The point I'm getting is they can't win. So you should try and take some sick pleasure in it like I do. It's going to kick off eventually. When it does, it'll all get sorted out. And even that's funny. Because that bloke went on stage at Glastonbury and said, ha ha, we're stealing your country from you. And Ash Sarkar goes on telling, hey, we're winning. And then the government helps them and supports them and even helps them diddle your children and sometimes murder them, right? And they'll do that for 30 years. And then when it kicks off, they go, whoa, didn't see that coming. That in itself's hilarious. Like I told you, that's what they did with Idi Amin. It's like they promise him aid money and they say, oh, you've got to have elections if you want your aid money. And he goes, really? And they go, yeah, you're not getting your aid money if you don't have elections. And then your average plumber who reads the paper 3 times a week will go, hang on, he's from a minority tribe. So if he has elections, he can't win. So won't he just kill everyone else? And the politicians go, ludicrous. Fantasy, you're living in a fantasy land. That's what they're like on talking to Tony Romo on Question Time. Can we just deal with reality here? They're listening to the ramblings of a madman. He's a madman. And then he kills everyone and they go, Weird. Never saw that coming. Everyone who's got two brain cells to rub together is like, what do you think was going to happen? What do you think was going to happen? And this is what I've told you about Tony Romo. He's not even like eloquent. It's not like he's some sort of staggeringly charismatic, immensely persuasive, legendary orator. It's orator. I guess it depends what part of the country you're from. Orator if you're from the borough. He's just a normal geezer. But he's the focal point, the nexus of the pushback from the state. And he's pointless. It's not him. It's the actions of the people he's criticising. I've told you this loads of times. What do you think radicalised people? Do you think it was Tony Romo giving poorly researched, not particularly eloquent speeches? I'm not slagging him off. I'm not particularly eloquent. I'm pretty good for borough, but that's a low bar, right? I don't think I'm some sort of charismatic Churchillian speaker either. But he's not good at public speaking. He's not eloquent. He's not particularly tall and handsome. He's got none of them traits that a sort of legendary people leader have. So it wasn't him. It was the behaviour of the people he's criticising. So they made him the focal point of their ire. And he's nothing. It's not Tony Romo. It's the actions of the people. I guarantee, of all the speeches and TV appearance and everything he did, the reason people were starting to see things his way is not because he was staggeringly persuasive. He's not some Jacob Rees-Mogg type. Tall, dashing, extremely eloquent and intelligent. He's just telling you what was happening. So the problem isn't people talking. Problem is the state letting them diddle your kids. I mean, sounds crazy, I know. So it's an unending quagmire. There is endless instances. Hundreds of thousands of little children getting diddled. Southport, I guarantee one Southport radicalises more people than any 10,000 speeches by Tony Romo. It's so obvious. It's got nothing to do with what he's saying. He's blameless. He didn't do anything. It's the actions of the state. What Southport, Manchester Evening News Arena, London bombings, 7/7, Borough Market, Nice truck attack, Beslan, Bataclan. That's radicalised tens of millions of people. And the bloke's talking has done nout. And yet they'll turn a blind eye to it all. And in a few years' time, when it massively kicks off, they'll go, whoa, what they're doing this for? Delusional. And they call people like, oh, don't listen to the Bootneck. He's working class and he drinks too much. Oh my God, he's so uncivilized. Listen to me, the science people. Neil Fergatwat. Do you remember when Neil Fergatwat modelled everything? And he was off by a factor of 2,900% or something. He said like 1 million people were going to die of swine flu and it was like 8. These people know nothing. These people know nothing. And yet they'll blame everyone but themselves. It's ludicrous. Ludicrous time to be alive. But here we are. What else should we talk about? Let's have a look. Watermelon communism, nothing to see here. That picture looks like hostage videos because Boy George kidnapped him. Yeah, well, it wouldn't really be kidnapping, would it, if he got chained to someone's wall and bummed 6 ways from Sunday? That wouldn't be a punishment for Owen Jones. I love that. It's class, innit? So have you all read about this? The newest superstar from the Democrat Party in America, full-blown commie, because in New York, which is basically London, which is basically Paris, which is basically Rome. That's what I'm telling you. The plan. Turn the entire planet into one gigantic shithole. It's happening in the big cities. It's only out in the sticks where we're avoiding it. He put down on his college application so he could get free money, that he's black African. Look at him. Black African. This is what I'm telling you. These slimy shitbag lefties, lying rat bastards that they are, they make these programs so they can steal more off the taxpayers. Because the money comes from the taxpayers. It goes on them. And then these wankers take advantage of it. People like me aren't taking advantage of it because we disagree with our principle. The people who pay all the bills, the conservatives, the hard workers, the plumbers, the bricklayers, the bus drivers, the window cleaners, they're paying the taxes, and people like this are stealing the money. Elizabeth Warren is particularly repellent because she's an insufferable, middle-class, privileged white lass who never struggled for anything in her entire life. But she marked Native American down because she wanted to steal your money. And this thieving Botswanan here, it's the same. Look at him. In fact, I'm darker than him. I've got more of a tan on my balls than he's got. And he put black. No. Idris Elba's black. Whoopi Goldberg's black. You aren't, mate. You aren't. And that's why I love that. More thieving from the left. Hypocritical left. And then them woman and sharp as attack. I love the picture they've used for sharp as attack. Amazing, isn't it? These hypocritical, thieving, lying, devious, sneaky, four-flushing scum sucking sacks of rats. All they do is lie. Lie. I'm a woman, and not only am I a woman, this is the best part of it. I would like the gaslight the whole world. Not only am I a woman, I'm more of a woman than the Octo Mom. What, the one who had 8 kids? Yeah, more of a woman than her. Yeah, Humza's more Scottish than Ua Woolley. She's more woman than the Octo Mom. And Joe Biden is sharper than Stephen Hawking and Isaac Newton. Oh yeah, and Isaac Newton. Yeah, he looked like Mati Nungwangbo, the Nigerian prince. Yeah, of course he did. I love that picture. Sharp as a tack. Thick as dehydrated whale spunk. No, I've told you a lot of this. Watch some old videos of Biden. He was thick when he was 40. He was thick when he's 40. And then when he gets to 80, his brains turn to rice pudding. And they still call him clever. Shall we do? I did this ages ago. But shall we do Joe Scarborough when he said he was as sharp as he's ever been? Let me have a look. Joe Biden sharp. Because it's amazing. I did a video all about it. But this is... yeah, look, someone's made it. This is literally like a week before he had to drop out. Because... he's an absolute plank. For those of you that haven't seen it, watch this. This just shows, and this is one of the biggest mainstream media outlets in America, MSNBC, Morning Joe, millions of viewers, right? This is a week before he dropped out because he's got porridge for brains, and this is what Joe Scarborough said about him. Listen, honestly.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now, he's cogent. Mm-hmm. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people knew this or not, Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would...
The cringe, though, aren't they? The sort of liberal Americans. They are cringe. The Irishman. What, like all paddies are bad-tempered, are they? Like, can you imagine saying that about anybody else? Oh, the Irishman used to come out. Yeah, like all of them. Oh, all mix are bad-tempered, don't you know? Imagine if he said, well, you know, them black fellas, they can't even walk past a basketball court. They have to run over and start doing tricks. They just have to. It's in them. It's in them. They can't go in within, if they go within 50 feet of a KFC, tractor beam turns on, sucks them in. It's not their fault. They can't help it. Can you imagine that? But these hypocritical, cringe lefties say shit like that. Yeah, oh, of course they are. It's not. They're all like that. Ho, I loves to fight, so I does. You can do that on the telly if you're a lefty. But I can't say a mildly disparaging comment about Whoopi Goldberg because she's thick as 2 short planks. Anyway, carry on, Joe. It gets better.
Say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you...
How good is that? I think that clip there sums the mainstream media up better than anything else I've ever seen in the 25 years I've been into politics. That 1 minute and 7 seconds is the best I've ever seen, ever. Not only does he say, like, multiple times, I know him really well. He's definitely the cleverest and sharpest he's ever been. A week before he got binned for having porridge for brains, and the entire world saw it, to the point where the Indians were making comedy shows about him where he's like, bumbling moron. But the way he ends it and says that in the last 10 seconds, that
best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. With all of that fake sincerity. I told you, you know what they remind me of? Like a bad boy band. You know, like Boyzone or someone, like, or Westlife. They get like a song wrote for them. Backstreet Boys or some shit. Get like a song wrote for them by some faceless stranger about the girlfriend that died in a car crash. And when they're singing it, they're like that on the video, like imploring the skies, fists clenched, like, it's that. It's like performative sincerity that is so thickly laid on, you can cut it with a knife. It's unbelievably cringe. And that twat, in 1 minute and 7 seconds there, has done a better job of summing up the unending hypocrisy and dishonesty of the scum that work for the mainstream media. All right? And don't say I can't say that one. Angela Rayner went on telly and said, oh, the Tories, the scum, the lot of them, because she sounds like she's got downs. So don't tell me I can't call them scum. The scum media, surely that's acceptable. If the Deputy Prime Minister can say it on telly, the Bootneck can say it to 800 people on his YouTube channel. All right? Easy. Anyway, that's an hour. You can have that for now. I'm going to get pissed around an employee's house who's having a barbecue. Not one of my employees, a fellow SpaceX employee. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to celebrate America's birthday and the continuation of Anglo-centric culture surrounded by people who love the English and the English way of life, and celebrating us losing a war for a change, because first of all, they were all English, so it doesn't really count as a loss. Like the Orcs in 40k. Orcs never really lose, because if you're fighting other Orcs, it doesn't count, okay? We wouldn't have lost if they were French. We lost to other English people. So really, it was a win. And second of all, it was a massive win, because if they didn't lose, then the White House would be, Hamza Yusuf would be sitting in it, and all the English pubs would be big golden bell end churches. So we should all celebrate American Independence Day. They have preserved English culture, and thank God for that. Because you don't want Rishi Sunak running the fucking United States, do you? All right. Everyone have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. I'll see you all. I might not do a scene tomorrow, seeing as I jumped the gun today. Have a good one. I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for liking and sharing and all that bollocks. Buy yourself a snack bar t-shirt if you can be asked. The link's in the description. Thanks to all the super chats, and I'll see you all very shortly. See you later. Toodle pip. Cheers.